Since the EU-Turkey deal, it's been European policy to exclude refugees from even entering Europe, and so we're kind of at the frontier of that in Lesvos. People are kept on Lesvos because the European Union doesn't want to allow people into the rest of Europe.
Cette époque-là, nous quand on est arrivé ici, pour nous les Africains noirs particulièrement, même arrestement, il n'y a pas. Quand vous arrivez, cette époque, il vous dit, la procédure varie entre 1 jusqu'à 6 mois, quand vous arrivez nouvellement. Mais quand vous sortez dehors, il y a au moins 7 mois, 8 mois sans accès à l'arrestement. Pas interview d'abord.
Moria, c'est une vie de l'enfer. Si je peux m'exprimer bien, c'est une vie de l'enfer. Mais il faut s'habituer. Ouais.
Moria, ce n'est pas centre d'asile, c'est une prison qu'on a mis ici. Pas centre d'asile, c'est la prison. Tu es en train de mourir sans savoir, tu es en train de mourir.
They are coming from a place where they are suffering so much, and this is the welcome that Europe is giving to them. That is Moria, that is hell, actually. Is the worst place where you can live. And to live here trapped in this island for months, it makes you, I mean, everything that you have suffered plus this it destroys you.
It was about a long time that demonstrations were happening in Moria. All the communities were reacting on the Moria situation. It was the Afghan before them it was the Syrians. All the communities have to complain on something. And it was a time, all these months, from February, March, and every week we used to have demonstrations to Moria.
I think the first kind of actions that came out were after there were several deaths that happened in the winter of 2016-2017, and refugee communities started coming together to really demand accountability from the authorities.
Pendant l'hiver, quand il y a eu la neige, c'était vraiment des petites bases, il n'y avait pas assez. Il y avait presque 13 morts, on déplore pour ça, Dieu leur âme. Côté africain, 3, les Afghans, les Pakistanais, Bangladesh, en tout, ça fait 13 morts l'année passée. Les conditions, c'était bizarre. Un frère africain léonais qui était malade. On a fait tout avec les autorités du camp, asile, pour qu'on donne 6 mois, ils partent se soigner, ils sont refusés jusqu'à il est mort ici, à l'hôpital Mitrili.
One of the most common demands of migrants and refugees was to be allowed to leave the island. So this was kind of the central common demand for several months across all nationalities. This has happened through a variety of different tactics throughout 2017, which included meetings with authorities, letter writing campaigns to European Parliament members, meetings with Parliament members, and non-violent resistance within the camp. And so many different communities took part in these different forms of resistance throughout the year.
Freedom, 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 freedom. Yeah.
Ça a commencé le 18 mars 2017. Les réfugiés sont regroupés pour faire une manifestation et demander leurs droits. Et avant de faire une manifestation, ils ont fait des alertes au niveau de Aïsaloum et au gouvernement de la Grèce, parce que chaque vendredi, ils préparent des réunions avec les autorités, ils disent leurs doléances. Malgré tout ça, ils n'ont pas de réponse. Maintenant, ils se sont fâchés, ils ont organisé une manifestation de Marseille, de Moria, camp jusqu'à Mytilini.
Moria! No good! Moria! No good! Moria! No good! Moria! No good!
You open the border. You don't stop people. You give us despite things, despite things. Life is better in Moria. Freedom for all.
Okay.
Le 18 mars, ça s'est bien passé. On a quitté Moria en pied jusqu'à centre-ville ici. Tous les réfugiés de Lesvos, ça s'est bien passé. Il n'y a pas eu la violation, il n'a pas cassé, c'est bien passé. Mais au niveau administratif, Yazo, il n'y a pas de changement. Après le 18 mars, je pense avril, on est parti encore, on a barré la KRTP, la route, on a barré la route là, presque de 8h jusqu'à presque 10h. Encore les gens de Moria sont venus, les autorités du camp, on a compris, allons au camp, on m'a arrangé. Ça n'a rien donné. Après encore, on est parti par le port. Mais ça ne donne pas.
In June and July, the African communities in particular were organizing and demanding that they be allowed to leave the island. The demand that the African migrants and refugees were making is something that's completely consistent with international law and Greek law. And they were basically requesting that their rights be respected and that people who've been trapped here for over 6 months be allowed to move to the mainland.
Juillet, c'était un lundi. Les gens sont sortis assis devant la porte de IASO avec les bidons là, on frappait ça sur terre. Freedom. Tout le monde disait freedom. C'est ce que tout le monde disait, freedom. Ok. On n'a pas de réponse ce jour-là, c'était le 17 juillet, c'était le jour de lundi. Les gens ont fait encore la même manifestation le 18, le lendemain c'était mardi. En faisant ces manifestations-là maintenant, on n'a pas de réponse. Les gens sont levés maintenant pour aller à la porte pour faire le discours. Dit maintenant, on a commencé le discours. En faisant ce discours, que la police a tiré la gaz sur les gens et commencé à prendre des pierres et lancer sur les gens.
They were using the guns to shoot the tear gas. They were shooting the refugee straight in front of them with the guns. 2 refugees hit on from these bullets.
Take onion, my friend. No, 1 minute. Good. Onion. No problem, good. Onion, good. No, good. Wait. Glass. Okay. Close your eyes.
Wow. Alors, les gars, tu vois?
It was not the first time that tear gas were into Moria and police brutality.
It was a scene of complete chaos. There was tear gas everywhere. The police had the Moria camp surrounded. families who had just fled the siege in Aleppo, for example. I mean, there were Syrian families who had just escaped war in Syria and arrived in Greece, thought they had reached Europe, and now were again fleeing police violence. And it was really a horrific scene when we arrived. There were families, babies, and tear gas everywhere. No one could breathe. About 3 p.m., the clashes died down. After 3 p.m., people were coming and going to their containers. They were walking around Moria normally, going to the mosque. And then at 4 p.m., there were 2 squads of riot police who basically surrounded and raided the African section of Moria camp.
De 14h30, les policiers sont venus. On ne sait même pas, les réfugiés ne savent même pas où sont sortis les policiers, parce qu'ils étaient nombreux. Ils ont fait le tour du camp maintenant. C'est en ce moment qu'ils ont tiré des gaz sur les gens. Au moment que les réfugiés couraient pour entrer dans leur chambre, la police commence à frapper les réfugiés. Les frapper comme des animaux, des bastonnets, de faire des choses horribles. C'est une chose qu'on ne peut pas oublier parce que c'était terrible. C'était devant nous, devant tout le monde.
Application de barono na e weleli ke bo meuli kata misirila bo ko polisi ne ta ne bine ne kunkirina kwa uyemine ka mayotu de integela tellement pas bon no boli ke na mo de ngandino mais ne boli kaso ne la sa ne video e mo ko bolo ko.
Tu sais pas là où aller, tu sais plus là où aller. On vient sur toi, on te frappe. Si on te frappe quand tu tombes, maintenant c'est les pieds, maintenant avec les ramiers, avec les chaussures là, on met sur toi. Et en ce moment qu'ils sont en train de frapper, il y a un certain frère qui s'appelle, qui est en prison actuellement. Ils ont cassé son bras.
In the weeks before the 18th of July, when these arrests took place, there was one particular meeting when some African community leaders, and not only African, but from several different nationalities, were meeting with the head of the Greek Asylum Service in Moria. The commander of the Mytilene police appeared in the meeting, and the refugees refused his presence because really it's not his competency to deal with geographic restrictions. And the commander of the police told them at this time that he would be back. He would return to Moria and show them who was in control of Moria. And then 2 weeks later, we saw the result of this.
When they rushed inside Moria, some people were trying to run away to maybe pass through the other place, so they hit the window and put tear gas inside so as for you not to be able to escape, for them to come inside and catch you there.
Donc, en un mot, j'étais hôpital sans frontières, j'avais rendez-vous avec psychologue. Fini avec le docteur à 13h moins, elle m'a dit, il ne faut pas que je vais au camp. Comme il y a une manifestation, c'est pas prudent. J'attends d'abord un peu, quand ça va se calmer, je vais rentrer. C'est elle qui m'a dit ça. Quand je suis arrivé, la porte centrale s'était ouverte, il n'y a personne. Donc, tous les policiers, ils étaient regroupés dans les bars là-bas. Donc quand je suis rentré, avant d'arriver à Yazo, c'est là où je vois 4 personnes aux alentours de moi. C'est là où il y a l'un d'eux qui m'a frappé ici un livre. Ici, je me suis défendu. Il voulait me monter seul, il ne peut pas. Donc là, c'est là où les 3 sont venus. Ils m'ont frappé jusqu'à ce que je me suis évanoui au sol. Donc c'est là où le docteur est venu, le docteur RC. Je ne me souviens plus. Quand je suis parvenu à l'hôpital, vers 23h la nuit, c'est là où ma conscience est revenue.
One friend called me from Moria telling me that Sonia, I need help, that the police had beaten us very badly and I need help, please come here to check on us because my sister has been hit by the police. She was pregnant, 7 months pregnant. My friend was all day in Mytilene. He was never even not in Moria when all the protests and the clashes happened. So he arrived in Moria and he started to see that there was a lot of riot police and they were arresting people. He decided to hide in an ISO box with some women, some friends.
While we were inside, we tried to lock the door because we understand the police are breaking containers. Anyone they bring out from the container, they put them in the police van. So we locked the container so as for them not to be able to come inside and take the 3 men with us. So after some minutes, it got to our container and they hit the door. Then we opened the door. They saw the pregnant woman first and asked her, because she was the eldest, they asked her, is there any man here? So the pregnant woman said, no, there's no man, it's just lady.
They started to lift the mattresses and finally they found him.
So the policeman was pointing to the pregnant woman and dragged the phone from the pregnant woman and said, so you said there's no man here, I will deal with you, I will deal with you, you must go to prison. Trying to hit the pregnant woman.
When he was trying to help her and to say, you cannot hit a pregnant woman, what are you doing? She's pregnant and you are not. Then they went to him and they started to hit him.
The policeman hit him to different corners of even to the rod of the bed, and the boy was bleeding bad. And at first, for like 10 minutes, he could not get himself. He was just lying lifeless in the ground, and after some time, he was able to get himself back.
I think they got scared because he was totally unconscious, and then they left because if not, I'm sure they will have arrested him.
We went to the hospital, the big hospital in Mytilene, and when we got there, it was like, the doctors were like, what are you doing here? Take these people away, take these people away. What are they looking for? They don't have problems. So after they checked the pregnant woman, and the doctor told the pregnant woman that her baby is not stable. So she needs to look for a place to calm herself down and just to make sure she don't lose the child.
So ci man fi ma toogoon ci laa buur bëgg a daw pour dem si beneen side bi because bëgguma jël tiyagas bi so ci leen sànni benn tiyagas sama side nii sànniwaat beneen fii after man ci laa daanu.
waaw non ça va de comme parce que waati la nga eba parce que ambura ay professeur waati na parce que ne bana dara docteur yi quoi parce que ça va de ne parce que ya problème be yande ça parce que eba yi do ya no me bien ko fa mais problème be yande c'est ça. OK. Problème be yande c'est ça.
So ci leen ma indi teg ma ci benn place ni ba ma mën a xool ni after si laa dégg benn boy buy ku ñuy door muy yooxu so ci laan yëkkati sama bopp di ko xool gis na ñu ngi ma ànd ko ci sama loxo yi sama gannaaw so bi ma yëkkatee sama bopp pour xool ko benn policier moo ñëw teg tànkam sama gannaaw fii beneen aussi dëggaat beneen tànkam bi fii na ma nuy afta ci leen ma yëkkati indi ma ci moto bi soo ci la ma benn police door fii la ma wax nag ci grec la ko wax dama dégg mu wax ci grec malaga xaw ma nag lan mooy malaga.
It was a completely violent and arbitrary raid of the African section, that people were pulled out of their containers, beaten while they were on the ground, beaten while they were in handcuffs, leaving some people unconscious, one individual hospitalized for a week, pregnant women being beaten. It was really a horrific scene. And the police were completely out of control. And I mean, luckily, some of us were there in order to document this, but I mean, this is something that happens behind closed doors in the police stations on a daily basis. Well, on this day, 35 individuals were arrested. The fact that people were released and arrested based on nationality, I think, shows that it was a clear attempt to punish certain communities that the authorities thought were responsible for organizing and demanding their rights.
The arrests that they did, it was not the right person. They didn't arrest the people that were on fights.
For example, there were 3 Congolese individuals who were arrested along with the 35 who ended up being charged, and they were released the same day. They were horrifically beaten by the police, taken to the police station, held there, watched other refugees and themselves being beaten by the police inside the police station while handcuffed. And then at the end of the day, the police gives them a box of juice and says, sorry, we made a mistake.
Comme nit bu ñuul laa ok loolu moo tax ñu boole ma si ñi jàpp.
Non, police comme police police yere kisi comme ne police yere sigle ba fo est-ce que ni bala ni meto ni tala ni ashijera so ni tekala ni tekala ni makaba profile ni matasma il yore demande mi para ko ni kane ni ma ko ni re
so biñ duggee ci biir am na benn boy biñ doon wax Paul benn Camerounais kooku door leen ko foofu door yu métti.
The morning after these 35 individuals were arrested, they were all brought into court together, and it was really a horrific scene. People were in complete shock at what had happened to them. People were still bleeding from open wounds. People were complaining that they thought they might have broken limbs, and they had received no medical attention. They had received limited food, and they were expected to go before a judge and defend themselves in a court with a language they didn't understand, with no real understanding of why they'd even been arrested. I mean, most of them had just been pulled from their containers, beaten severely, and taken to the police station.
Le jour quand j'étais au tribunal, l'enquêteur m'a dit est-ce que tu veux je vais porter la plainte. Je dis oui, je vais porter la plainte. Et moi plus tard, après, quand on a porté la plainte là, j'ai envoyé un policier au camp, soit déjà je suis convoqué à la station de police à Mitrili. Quand je suis arrivé, la personne qui m'a dit, il y a 2 personnes, un officier de la 4 étoiles, il m'a dit on t'a appelé ici juste par rapport à la situation qui t'est arrivée. Donc s'il y a possibilité, je veux que tu retires ta plainte. Ça peut t'aider le jour des jugements. Je dis mais pourquoi? Je ne retire pas, je confirme.
For all 37 individuals, they have identical charges, which already is an indication that there's a real lack of evidence against them. So all of them have been charged with arson with risk to human life, which is the most serious offense that they're charged with. with rioting, with assault against a police officer, with resisting arrest, with damage to property. So if they're convicted of the most serious crime, this could be up to 10 years in prison if they're convicted of setting fire with causing a risk to human life. And also this could prevent them from being granted international protection.
The first Democrat da ngeen daan wax ne Greek la ngeen ne first law in the world Greek la ok loolu moo taxoon ma daaw pour ñëw Greek pour ñu seef ma ok man fekk moo fi loolu.
People continue to live in horrible conditions in Moria. People continue to have their cases rejected, are being deported to Turkey on a weekly basis. This year, we are fewer because there's been a coordinated effort to crush resistance by migrants in Moria. In the weeks that followed these arrests and continuing now, there continue to be police raids, and people are afraid. People are afraid to come out and stand up for their rights.
It's really important that we also build awareness about what the reality of this case is. I mean, the good thing is that we have the truth on our side, that we know that these individuals were arrested arbitrarily, were severely beaten by the police, were targeted only because they were in the African section of the camp. And so it's important that we're able to build awareness and build pressure so that justice can be achieved.
Le premier souci que je gagne, c'est bien d'aller filer à côté de mon fils, lui serrer dans mes bras. C'est ce que je rêve actuellement. J'ai conscience franchement que cette procédure, on va gagner. Pourquoi on va gagner? Parce que je sais bien qu'on est des innocents.
Moria!